Hello and welcome to News Bulletin from CBATV, the voice of East Africa and beyond. My name is Ajara Metijani. Now the news in full. But first, the headlines. The Grand Sultan of Somaliland died in Hargeisa. Car bomb explodes near Mogadishu security checkpoint. Arab League joins international calls to end political crisis in Somalia. Thousands of refugees stranded at Uganda's border. Plus, Algerian President returns home after successful surgery. Now the news in full. The Grand Sultan of Somaliland, Sultan Mohammed Sultan Abdul Qadri, passed away in Hargeisa on Friday evening, and he has been laid to rest on Saturday. Many Somali leaders have extended their condolences to his family and Somali communities. The Sultan served as the Grand Sultan of the country for 46 years.
The Grand Sultan of Somaliland, Sultan Mohammed Sultan Abdul Qadri, passed away in Hargeisa on Friday evening, where eventually he was laid to rest on Saturday. Neither the government nor family has disclosed the cause of his death. Thousands of people, including government officials and political parties, have attended his burial to say goodbye for the last moment to see his body. Most of the Somali political and traditional figures have extended their condolence to the family and Somali community for the loss of their loved one.
إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون كل نفس ذائقة الموت كل نفس ذائقة الموت.
Somaliland President Musa Bihi described him as a key pillar for the peace and Somaliland's statehood.
كل نفس ذائقة الموت.
Muhammad Abdullahi Farmacho, the Somalia president, also described him as a key figure that will be missed by the Somali traditional leaders. Sultan Mohammed Sultan Abdul Qadri served as a sultan for the past 46 years. He is also remembered in Somaliland's peace and reconciliation conferences. This began in 1991 when the Somali National Movement took control of Somaliland and announced Somaliland's independence at the Grand Conference in Bur'o, which all of Somaliland's traditional clan leaders attended. During Somaliland's inter-clan conflicts in the early 1990s, which mostly affected Berbera, Bur'o and Hargeisa, Sultan Mohammed Sultan Abdul Qadri spearheaded peace conferences between the warring parties. On the other side, the Oud Sultan Mohammed Sultan Abdul Qadri has been inaugurated as the new Sultan. The Oud is the eldest son of Sultan Mohammed Sultan Abdul Qadri, and now he will lead the Sultanate.
A car bomb has exploded in Mogadishu. Several people have been injured and no death reported yet. The blast destroyed over 10 vehicles, including 6 auto rickshaws parked along the road.
According to reports, a car bomb has exploded in Mogadishu. Initial reports say there are several people injured in this car explosion. No death has yet been confirmed by the police of the region. Witnesses say the car passed through Dabka junction before the soldiers sprayed it with bullets and subsequently went off near Sayidka checkpoint, which is not far away from Somali Parliament building. The blast destroyed over 10 vehicles, including 6 auto rickshaws parked along the road. Ambulances have arrived at the scene to ferry the victims of the blast. Somali government has not yet commented on this explosion. No group has claimed responsibility for this car explosion, though Al-Shabaab had previously carried out similar attacks in Mogadishu and other parts of the country, but they have not claimed this one.
The Arab League has joined the international cause to end the political crisis in Somalia, where there is a disagreement between the political stakeholders over the country's electoral impasse.
The Arab League has called on Somalia's political leaders to find an immediate resolution to the electoral impasse in a statement released on Friday. The regional organization of nearly 24 members said that they are closely monitoring the political situation in Somalia and urged federal and regional government leaders to reach a comprehensive agreement to end the deadlock. They also urged all Somali political stakeholders, including the federal government officials and the opposition presidential candidates, to resume talks immediately and resolve their disputes. For the past days, There have been political disagreements between the top federal government officials and some of its member states over the electoral process, which was expected to take place earlier. They have not yet reached an agreement, and the country's president mandate expired on 8th February. The Council of Opposition presidential candidate, which unites former presidents and prime minister, announced they will not recognize Farmajo as the legitimate president, though the federal government said he will be remaining the president until a new president is elected.
The East African nation, a leader on the continent in terms of welcoming refugees, is known for its hospitality. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, about 1.4 million people have found refuge in the country. The capital, Kampala, appears to have put in place a mechanism for the rapid integration of refugees into Ugandan society, and many of the newcomers eventually become full members of their host communities. Those who cross the border at an early age are raised in Ugandan schools, promoting a healthy fusion of double culture and adequately preparing the young refugees to thrive in their new home. Kaniko Jerry, a Southern Sudanese refugee, shares his positive experience with the local educational system. It is in the West Nile region where most of the refugees live that all is not rosy at the camps. Access to healthcare, drinking water and electricity is a problem. The COVID-19 pandemic has only compounded an already challenging situation. For 75-year-old John Queer, who arrived more than 20 years ago, settling into a dignified new life has not been a walk in the park. The main challenge for this head of the family is to provide for his beloved dependents. The refugees say that the government ensures their security, but this is not enough. They want enough arable land to cultivate in order to reduce their dependence on aid and establish truly independent, sustainable and more satisfactory life for their families in Uganda. The president of Algeria, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has returned home after a month in Germany for post-coronavirus surgery. The 75-year-old president has been hospitalized in Germany last year after contracting COVID-19.
The president of Algeria, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, returned home after a month in Germany for post-coronavirus surgery. The 75-year-old president had been hospitalized in Germany last year after contracting COVID-19. Algeria has so far recorded more than 110,000 coronavirus cases, including at least 2,900 deaths from COVID-19 since the pandemic began. The recent travel by Abdelmadjid Tebboune is his second time in a German hospital, this time for an operation on his right foot related to the illness after effects. Upon his return, Tebboune said he spoke on the phone with German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier to thank him for the care he received in Germany. The return of the president to Algeria comes amid tension in the North African country ahead of the second anniversary of the launch of Iraq protests on February 22. Iraq protests continued after Bouteflika was forced out of office, demanding a full overhaul of the ruling system in place since Algeria's 1962 independence from France. Among the key issues that await him include the development of the new electoral law ahead of anticipated local and legislative elections slated to be held by the end of the year. A government reshuffle is also expected. Kamel Sadiq, CBATV.
To West Africa, Senegal is a step closer to revoking parliamentary immunity from opposition leader Ousmane Sonko, who is accused of rape by an employee of a beauty salon. The 46-year-old refutes the allegation and says it is a political plot to bar him from the 2024 presidential race. On Thursday, the Office of the National Assembly and the Conference of Presidents launched a procedure for lifting his parliamentary immunity. An ad hoc committee will discuss the request on Monday. It will then produce a report to be presented on February 17 at a plenary session devoted to the lifting of the parliamentary immunity of the deputy. The controversy sparked clashes in the capital Dakar earlier this week, with his supporters hurling rocks at police outside his residence. The demonstrators were met with tear gas and scores were arrested. Sonko came in third place in the 2019 presidential election and is projected to be a contender in the 2024 vote. The head of the opposition, Pastef Party, said on Twitter that the rape accusation was an attempt at political liquidation, noting that two people had always been present during the massage. The rape allegation comes amid uncertainty over whether 59-year-old Sall will run for a third term in the country. To the Africa's populous nation, Nigeria, the federal government of Nigeria says it is ready to bolster relations and cooperation in strategic areas of interest to advance diplomatic relations with China in the future.
The federal government of Nigeria says it is ready to bolster relations and cooperation in strategic areas of interest to advance diplomatic relations with China in the future. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Dr. Ifeoma Anyawutaku, made the call at the commemoration of the 50 years of diplomatic relations between Nigeria and China in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. The event, organized by the China Cultural Center, was jointly commemorated alongside the Chinese New Year celebration.
Nigeria and China have continued to achieve and witness fast-growing pragmatic bilateral relations through strategic partnership in the areas of culture, economy, infrastructures, and more importantly, in trade and financing. In recent years, under the strategic friendship of President Muhammadu Buhari and President Xi Jinping, the relationship between China and Nigeria has reached a new crescendo, unmatched in history and bringing tangible benefits to our two countries and peoples.
While speaking on Nigeria's relations with China for the past 50 years, Dr. Anyawutaku said that both countries had witnessed substantial progress in mutually beneficial cooperation as China had become one of Nigeria's top trading partners in recent years.
At this auspicious occasion of our 50th anniversary of diplomatic ties, we must recognize that 50 years is a very important landmark for the Nigeria-China relationship. And I can only call for deeper reflections, solidarity, and cooperation in strategic areas of our interests. Let me assure you that Nigeria remains committed to our relations, and we hope the future brings much progress and prosperity to both countries.
Also speaking at the event, Mr. Shua Yong, charged the Affairs Embassy of China, said 2021 was vital for China-Nigeria relations, and China is ready to build a stronger and closer relationship with Nigeria.
We are ready to work with Nigerian friends to speed up the implementation of the consensus reached during the visit by His Excellency Mr. Wang Yi, State Councilor and the Foreign Minister of China last month, and to continuously push forward the development of China-Nigeria strategic partnership so as to build a stronger and closer China-Nigeria community with a shared future. Let's create the next glorious 50 years of bilateral relations together.
Also, Mr. Olusegun Rosewe, the Director General, National Council for Art and Culture, said that the cultural exchange between Nigeria and China had improved in the past 50 years and pledged that Nigeria would do more to take it to the next stage. The event also showcased a photo exhibition of Nigeria-China friendship with elite collections of 50 award-winning photos from China-Nigeria National Day and solidarity in defeating COVID-19. Reporting from Nigeria, Kamil Sadiq, CBATV.
The African Union, AU, and Economic, Social and Cultural Council, ECOSOC, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Dr. Rhoda Makinde Initiative, DROMI, an NGO aimed at promoting women and gender affairs in Nigeria.
The African Union, AU, and Economic, Social and Cultural Council, ECOSOC, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with Dr. Rhoda Makinde Initiative, DROMI, an NGO aimed at promoting women and gender affairs in Nigeria. In his remarks at the official MOU signing ceremony in Abuja, Dr. Tunji Ashaolu, first Nigerian representative of the Permanent General Assembly of the AU ECOSOC, emphasized the need to promote women welfare. The MOU was signed between the AU ECOSOC, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, and DROMI, an NGO primarily dedicated towards the empowerment of women and girls. Dr. Tunji said the AU ECOSOC partnership recognizes Nigeria's performance between the year 2000 and 2010 as AU's decade of gender equality and grassroots mobilization, and between year 2011 and 2020 as AU's decade of women engagement and empowerment.
We appreciate the efforts of the Nigerian government on the role it has played so far in these 2 decades. More needs to still be done, hence necessitating the need for this partnership with DROMI. To drum support from the AU system and other international partners in addressing the average performance, challenges, and chances for Nigeria's women and girl child to contribute to the Nigeria's and Africa development at large. Economic empowerment on the African continent can only be attained if women occupy high political and social positions. We must make efforts in a number of areas to ensure women achieve education and also take advantage of the emerging opportunity in science and technology.
Speaking at the event, Makinde, the Chief Executive Officer of DROMI, said collaboration with the Ministry and AU ECOSOC would pave the way of opportunities for the organization and next generation of women. According to her, the vision for Nigeria to become a livable, sustainable, and smart country is aspirational. She said further that it could be achieved through successful implementation of the project.
Today's event comes as an important juncture where we use this MOU to further advance our leadership and partnership. I would like to assure you of the DROMI's commitment to continue to supporting this country's effort to become a true world-class nation, and express our desire to continue shifting the focus of our assistance from a sectoral approach towards a strategic engagement.
ECOSOC is an advisory body of the AU and was set up to give civil society organizations a voice within institutions and the decision-making processes of the African Union. Kamil Sadiq reporting from Nigeria.
The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the continent will continue to use Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine despite concerns over its use against a COVID-19 variant that emerged in South Africa.
We are joined by Dr. John Nkengasong, who is the director of the Africa CDC. As usual, he'll be taking us through the situation of COVID-19 on our continent and then taking your questions at the end of it all.
The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the continent will continue to use Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine despite concerns over its use against a COVID-19 variant that emerged in South Africa. This was confirmed by John Nkengasong, director of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, who said Africa will not walk away from AstraZeneca vaccine.
For the epidemiological update, as of 9 a.m. East African time today, the world has recorded over 106 million cases of COVID-19 infection and more than 2.3 million deaths, resulting in a case fatality rate of 2.2%. For countries that have not reported the circulation of the SARS-CoV-2 variant, that is the N501Y.B2 variant, we recommend that they proceed with the rollout of the AstraZeneca vaccine. For countries that have reported the circulation of the SARS-CoV-2 variant, we recommend the acceleration of their preparedness to introduce all vaccines that have received emergency use authorization or approval by the regulatory authorities.
The comment comes after South Africa paused the rollout of the vaccine because of preliminary trial data showing it offered minimal protection against mild to moderate disease caused by the new variant dominant in the country. The variant has now been found in 6 other African countries such as Botswana, Comoros Island, Ghana, Kenya, Mozambique and Zambia. Earlier, South Africa said it could seek to sell or swap its AstraZeneca shot and will use an alternative from Johnson & Johnson to start protecting healthcare workers later this month. Meanwhile, the Africa CDC has recommended that countries that had not detected the variant should proceed with the AstraZeneca rollout. Nkengasong said the Africa CDC would be doing its own evaluations of the AstraZeneca vaccine across multiple countries. He added further that talks were ongoing with Johnson & Johnson to access more doses than the 120 million that feature in the AU vaccine plan. Kamil Sadiq, CBATV.
And with that report, we've come to the end of the news bulletin from CBATV. Watch out for more reports from this channel and, of course, more breaking news from this angle. My name is Ajara Matijani. Bye for now.